Welcome back to the Canada Specialist Program series. My pleasure to welcome back Martin from Adventure Canada to kick off today's bucket list update. So, Martin, over to you.
Thanks, Charlie. Super excited to share all of Adventure Canada's 2027 expeditions with you. So, I am Martin Aldrich, our Key Partnerships Manager. 11 years now this July, so pretty exciting. I'm really excited to just jump into 2027. But first, a little bit about Adventure Canada. So, why would you book a client with Adventure Canada? Well, we're Canadian owned and operated and in business for 40 years. The family that started the company wanted to take people to the backcountry of Canada, and they're still doing so on two ships. We have a 75 and a 175 passenger ship. We have an incredible guest to expedition team ratio, and it's those specialists that really make these trips incredibly special. We're also very committed to sustainability, and both of the ships that we'll talk about today are much more efficient and much greener vessels. So it's great to see Adventure Canada investing in sustainability. So a little bit about our guest profile. Our travelers are typically in the age range of 55 to 75 years old, although we have no minimum age and no maximum age. They're typically well traveled. They want to have fun. They want to learn, and they want to connect with other people. The largest demographic is Canadian, and then the third largest would be Australian and New Zealanders. So certainly a large contingent from down your way up our way. And they're coming for our specialists. They're coming for the knowledge that our teams have on board. They're unique for each different trip that we operate. So in Newfoundland, it's a Newfoundland contingent. In the Arctic, we'll have Inuit staff, and they are going to be doing things like driving your Zodiac for Zodiac cruises, or your client's Zodiac for their Zodiac cruise. We use those Zodiacs to go from the ship to the shore and get out for our expedition landings. And of course, a really large component of our expeditions is getting into communities. So community visits, where we also hire local guides. So local specialists on board the ship, and then local community members for our guides in community, which is really a great way to be immersed in the destination for the entirety of the trip. So a little bit about Ocean Victory. This is a 175 passenger ship. It's a 2021 build, and it's an expat design, as you can see by the front of that ship, which allows us to glide gracefully through water, whether it's calm seas or rough. It's an ice class of 1A, so this is just below an icebreaker, which allows us to explore all of the nooks and crannies of the Northwest Passage, which there are many. This ship also is able to stay in place without dropping anchor with zero speed stabilizers, which allows us to protect the marine floor. At dinner, we have beer, wine, and soft drinks included. And for all guests, basic Wi-Fi access is included. So just a quick look at the ship. We have the main lounge here where all the presentations and briefings will occur. The food is always important, and the Panorama restaurant will deliver. We can cater to all dietary needs except for kosher, and all the meals are included in the cost of the expedition. And then just a brief look at one of the cabin categories. This is category 3. There are 9 cabin categories, including, and additionally, 2 solo cabin categories. And you can see very well appointed. And on our website, there are lots of descriptors as well as the overhead view, so you can see exactly the layout of the cabin. So that's Ocean Victory. Let's switch over to Ocean Nova, which is less than half the size, so 75 guests. It's a 250-foot long classic expedition ship, which was custom built for ice-choked waters. Some of the amenities on board: 24-hour beverage station. There's an open bridge policy. The gym faces the ocean. There's also basic Wi-Fi included as well. And just looking at some of the spaces here, you can see very bright, airy, well-maintained in the panoramic lounge here. And then, of course, again, food very important in the dining room, and great food on Ocean Nova as well. So where are we going on Ocean Nova in 2027? We have 2 circumnavigations of Newfoundland, one in June and one in July. The July running is sold out now. This trip starts and ends in St. John's, and 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites as the main locations that are the big highlights. So that's Lanceau Meadows, the only confirmed Viking settlement in North America, right at the top of the map there. And then Red Bay, Basque whaling port from 500 to 800 years ago, where the Basque people were whaling. And Gros Morne, where the tablelands are located, which is the Earth's mantle that's pushed up through the crust. So this is a 12-day trip. And again, early June, we have an opportunity for icebergs on this expedition. If your clients are looking to go a little bit further afield from Newfoundland, but also still want to see a lot of Newfoundland, our Gulf of St. Lawrence would be a fantastic trip. I forgot to mention there's QR codes on all the trip pages here, so you can scan them and it will take you right to the webpage for that trip. This trip starts and ends in St. John's as well, also 12 days, and we're going to include a bunch more of Quebec here. So we're going to the Mignon Archipelago, Anticosti Island, Bonaventure Island on the Gaspé Peninsula, which also includes Percé Rock, the Magdalen Islands or the Les Îles de Madeleine, and then we also stop into Saint Pierre and which is France, which is part of France. So you can go to France without crossing the Atlantic. All right. So this is one of my favorite places on those two trips, Francois, located on the south coast. Beautiful little town in a little harbor here. No roads in or out. Mostly just Adventure Canada that goes here, and the community members, of course. And as I mentioned, at this time of the year, good opportunity to see icebergs that have come down from Iceberg Alley from Greenland. Speaking of Greenland, we have 3 runnings of Greenland and Wild Labrador in 2027. This trip goes from St. John's to Nuuk in late July into early August. We have a charter flight for the return, so from Nuuk back to Toronto. Absolutely fantastic trip. And you can see when I switch here to the next slide that we're running this trip later in the season, mid to late September, going from Nuuk to St. John's. So same 15 days, just run in reverse and a little bit later in the season. The big highlight here would be the Torngat Mountains of Labrador. We spent 4 days in the Torngat Mountains in various locations. No people live here. Absolutely stunning. One of Canada's newest national parks. Going much further north on Ocean Nova in late August, we're going to have Ellesmere Island and North Greenland, Journey to the Top of the World. This is limited availability already for 2027 with 75 passengers. It's filling up very quickly. And I'll just point out the main destination for this trip is Hans Island, which you can see right up there between Ellesmere Island and Greenland. So this trip runs a round trip from Resolute, and we have charter flights up and back from Ottawa. 13 days to the top of the world. And then an art trip here. This is in conjunction with an art gallery. This is our High Arctic expedition where art meets land. This is very similar to our Out of the Northwest Passage, just missing the western portion. This is 15 days. We fly up from Ottawa to Resolute. We go pretty far north, not quite as far north as the previous trip. We'll finish in Nuuk and fly down to Toronto. So 15 days in early September, 2 charter flights that you can see, Ottawa to Resolute and Nuuk to Toronto. And I thought for the last 2 trips, maybe a few of you have not been that far north or seen any imagery from there. So this is Greenland and that very far north area. And then a little bit later in the evening, as we get closer to Ellesmere Island. So this is Ellesmere Island looking with Greenland behind us. And then I looked back later in the evening, and this is Greenland late at night on the Northwest Passage. I have not done the Journey to the Top of the World because that's a brand new trip. So it's just some stunning scenery there between Ellesmere Island and Greenland. So those were the Ocean Nova trips in 2027. Not all of them, just some of the ones I wanted to highlight. You can certainly check out our website to check out all the offerings that Adventure Canada has. On Ocean Victory in early August, we have Heart of the Arctic. This is an art-focused trip as well, a little bit more time spent in communities. It's a sub-Arctic trip just below the Arctic Circle. Charter flight from Toronto up to Nuuk, and then a Iqaluit return to Ottawa. We're focused mostly on southern Baffin Islands and Nunavik, which is northern Quebec, and some fantastic locations on this trip. We stopped into some communities again where lithography is prominent, so they are making their prints here. And your guests would get to go into these communities and see the artists at work and even potentially purchase directly from the artist. But it's not all about art. This trip is fantastic for polar bears. This is a shot that I got on Heart of the Arctic in 2017 when I was on board. The only time I've done Heart of the Arctic. Hopefully I'll go back one day. Absolutely stunning. Again, I think this is probably one of the most well-rounded trips that we offer. So Heart of the Arctic, which is followed by Baffin Island and Greenland, circling the midnight sun. This is 12 days, and this is in mid to late August. We're on Ocean Victory as well here. We start with a charter flight from Ottawa to Iqaluit. We're then going north of the Arctic Circle, and we do include a Ilulissat in that UNESCO site there, finishing in Kangerlussuaq with a flight back to Toronto. Baffin Island, not that many visitors get up to Baffin Island, and it is definitely a place that I would love to visit again. Baffin Island has some stunning peaks, lots of fjords, as well as some communities. Really, really highly, strongly recommend Baffin Island and Greenland. Another trip to Greenland. We have our third running of Greenland and Wild Labrador. So this is on Ocean Victory, and it runs from the north to the south. So from Kangerlussuaq, Greenland to St. John's, Newfoundland. And I'm just going to jump right over to the big two trips. So into and out of the Northwest Passage. These are our longest trips. They're 17 days each. Into goes from Kangerlussuaq, Greenland to Kugluktuk. And I'm now going to just switch over to the next slide so you can see out of the Northwest Passage. So if you look at the map here from Into, you can see now that we do go a little bit further north and cover a little bit more of Northwest Greenland on out of the Northwest Passage. This is a little later in the season, so mid to late September, also on Ocean Victory. And the reverse trip, so Yellowknife up to Kugluktuk, finishing in Kangerlussuaq with a flight down. And this trip is legendary. It is the big bucket list to do with Adventure Canada. Stunning scenery, like this shot from Greenland. We have many UNESCO sites and historical sites. With a historian on board, your clients will be told all about what's going on here. This is Beechy Island. There's, of course, polar bears. We have lots of different species of whales, 15 different species of whales in this area at that time of the year. We do offer kayaking on Ocean Victory as well. And at this time of the year, late August into late September, we have a really good chance of seeing the Northern Lights. So you can be up in the Northwest Passage and seeing the Northern Lights and narwhal and belugas and polar bears and meet some friendly folks along the way as well. So this is the full overview of all the different areas that we go. You can see all the different trips to Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and Iceland that I didn't talk about. We have our East Coast trips. I didn't talk about Sable Island, but we have a trip there as well. All the trips around the subarctic area, as well as above the Arctic Circle, and of course the Northwest Passage. We also have other smaller trips that we're offering for the Galapagos, Antarctica, Japan, the west coast of Canada, and Haida Gwaii, and Svalbard. We currently have all of our, or most of our, sorry, there's a couple trips that are now close to sold out, so we don't actually have them on promotion, but almost all of our expeditions in 2027 are on sale up to 25% up until May 15th. If you haven't already, certainly make sure you get over to adventurecanada.com and click on that register today button when you are on the travel advisor hub. So that's on the main toolbar there, and then the register today. Make sure you get all of our updates and news feeds. And thank you so much for listening in on our Journeys for the Curious, our new branding. There's so much to check out on our website. There are so many different offerings, and we keep adding in new stuff every single year. Next launch will be September. And I think I am on time this time, Charlie.
Ooh, awesome. I love it, Martin. It's mind blowing, and you're just dropping like amazing, amazing trip after amazing trip. It's hard to like your brain to keep up. It's like, where are you going? Wow. And that was, like you say, just a portion of your itineraries. When you see that map at the end, that actually, I think Rosemary has requested in the follow-up. Can you please do a copy of the full overview of all the trips, please? So
Yep,
thank you. Amazing. Take a breath.
my
Love
pleasure.
all those images as well. Always love your presentations. Sells itself. Hey, these remote corners of the earth are absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. And I
Okay.
try to include a few of my own images, so just to give you
Yeah,
that
which
sense
is
of
cool.
being up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it's like on
excellent.
board. Thank you so much, Martin.